Welcome to Ask Maureen, where we cover historical image analysis, genealogy, and how to work with your family photo collection. I'm Maureen Taylor, the photo detective, and I'll try to answer your questions. Hi, good afternoon. It's Maureen Taylor. This is for another episode 23, actually, of The Photo Detective. And I use the BeLive platform so that you can interact with us. So if you have questions, it's live and we can answer them, hopefully. Now, if you don't have time to watch this as a replay on Facebook and you're not able to see it live, don't worry. It is a podcast and you can get that on iTunes. And today, my guest is Desmond of MemoryWeb. And it is a product that I just absolutely love. And Chris, you're going to do a lot of fun things today, and we have a special offer for everyone who watches. So why don't you start by telling us, what is MemoryWeb?
Maureen, thanks again for having us back on the show, and we're pretty excited about a lot of the new stuff we have out there. But just kind of go back of what it is and what we do. So it's three of us that started our own company to solve a need that we had personally, and just organizing our own family history photos. So none of us were expert genealogists or anything. What we were is people that wanted to kind of really make sure that our photo archive was saved. And so what we've developed based upon that need, with just being able to add the back of the photo details to pictures, we've become known as the family history photo app.
That's right. But you're so much more than that. So I used to use Picasa, and I have to admit I still have Picasa on my laptop, even though Google no longer supports it. But I can tell you that with the new things you're going to show us today, I'm done. I don't have to use Adobe Lightroom. I don't have to use that old version of Picasa. My photo collection is going to be amazingly organized. And I mean, I always thought that MemoryWeb made organizing photographs easy and intuitive, and now this makes it even better. So, Dan, one of our watchers is already saying that she's tried several products and she hopes this meets her needs. And Deborah, I'm going to tell you, it will. I guarantee it. Now, what is MemoryWeb known for, other than being the web app? Well, actually, that's a little sneak out. The photo organizer for genealogists, by genealogists.
Yeah. So, what we're really known for, like, people ask what makes you different in the market? How do you compare to the other services out there? Really, it's being able to change the metadata of your photos and allow all your photos, not just the ones that you organize for family history, but your entire collection to be organized. And so we kind of have four main areas we think about when we think of MemoryWeb. Gathers. We allow you to gather your photos from Google Drive, Dropbox, Instagram, Flickr, Family Search, your iPhone, and your computer, which a lot of folks have a ton of photos on their computer. Once you bring all those together, then it's like, okay, what do I do with everything? Because I probably never had everything all in one place. Then you need to be able to edit. And a lot of folks, they might go through and have digitized those old photos, but all that information is probably wrong, or it's the date scan. So we allow you to actually change the date, location, people, and add all of that into the photos forever. And when I say forever, it's so that when you take the photo out of our application, the metadata is injected inside the digital photo, so it really is forever. It's not forever being in our platform. We allow you to take the photos out of our platform because we believe you should own your stuff. And we believe that because that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to own our photos and our data. So that's what we mean by forever. And then we have so much fun inside what we call the app is navigation. And that's some of the stuff that I know that you've given us some tips on, some other users are, but some really fun things that you can do with your old photos to make it really easy to share and talk about and show off, to be honest with you. And so that's really the process. It's gather, edit, navigate, and export. That's kind of our channel. That's what we were known for. And that's what we were actually rolling out today in a bigger fashion.
That's right. We have big news for today. And I
Yeah.
will say that you're a very responsive company, so that when your super users,
Yeah.
people who have a lot of photos and use your product, myself included, you're responsive. You're like, that would be a good idea, or we're going to roll that out in the future. And today is the big day, because today I'm hoping you'll give us a demo of all of these new things that folks might not know about, the things that make MemoryWeb stand out from all the other
Thanks.
software.
Yeah. So originally, our product was built for what's called iOS, which is for people that have iPhones, iPads, and we've been out there for a little bit over a year with the MemoryWeb product in that fashion. And everything we talked about with gathering and organizing, it's all in that product. But our friends that have Androids, or folks that say, "Hey, listen, I use my desktop so much to organize my photos. I want to be able to use that, but then enjoy everything on my phone or wherever I want to take my stuff to." So we've decided to move forward and develop what we call a web app version, which means that you can go to our website now, www.memoryweb.me.
I can put that up. Hold
Yeah.
on.
And when you go there, you can kind of understand what we're about. We have a lot of great how-tos. We've got a great blogs that have been in there related to organizing photos. But we now allow you to sign in from the website so that you can now register for an account and sign up for an account there. And also, it'll work for Android because it's mobile friendly. So folks that have Androids out there, they can then use whatever internet browser they have on their phone, go to memoryweb.me, and then they can actually then log in for an account there. And the neat part about it, Maureen, is that whatever work you do, either on your phone, on your iPad, or on your desktop, everything syncs so that all your hard work that might go in working that evening on your computer is then automatically with you on your phone when you go and maybe go to a family event and you're showing off all your photos. Because to me, we just had a family reunion this summer, and we have those core genealogists that are flipping out the charts and bringing everything out, and they said, "So here's some old photos that we have in the books." And I said, "You know what? I have all of those on my phone. Not only that, but they're organized." And I start showing everybody the photos, over 130,000. And they just say, "How do you have that with you at all times?" And then I share the albums with them so that they have them as well. And that's where it's really changing, I guess, the way people think about sharing photos and organizing photos and memories, is because now it's more than just looking at, some photo albums at a reunion or a family tree. You're actually bringing this all to life with your current stuff. And that's what makes it really magical.
Right. So you can share with,
Yeah.
like I shared with my sister-in-law, some pictures of a baby shower for her daughter. I
Yep.
just sent her the link and she could look at them. But we can take our phones with us with all that information, and we can edit that information on our phones, and it translates to what's on our desktop, but all our devices.
That's
Which
right.
is great, because my husband is very organized and he has an Android. And so he cleans all the images off his phone and puts them on his desktop. So then we go to dinner with our kids and they're like, "Oh, show us the pictures from your last vacation." And he's like, "Oh, I already took them off my phone." But with MemoryWeb, he can say, "Sure, here they are."
That's
Right?
right.
It's all linked.
You got
Doesn't
it.
matter. Now, we had a couple of questions just before we get into the demo, which I'm going to let you drive.
Okay.
June wants to know if external drives on the computer, if the photos will sync with the external drives.
And who's the user that asked that?
I'm going to put her up there. June.
June's going to be very happy.
I'm hoping you're going to say yes.
Not only can you sync those photos on external drives, but if June is organized like I am, where they actually maybe have created folders of years or named events to organize all of those photos, we automatically create album names as you import them into MemoryWeb along with all the other metadata that is inside those photos. So all that work is put to good use in MemoryWeb for you. So the answer is yes, plus.
Yes, plus, which is great because I have a lot of stuff on an external hard drive. So I'm going to do that later.
Okay.
And then Margie wants to know, does it work on a Mac? And I can answer that one and say, yes, it does.
It does. In fact, if you want to, I'll jump into the demo and I could show you where those are located.
Let me go right to that.
Okay.
So we're going to make us small and your screen big, and you're going to drive.
Is it on? We ready
it's
to go?
on.
Okay.
It's ready to go.
So this is a demo account. So it's not my complete personal account because I'm going to show you things that are going to be edited and we're going to have some fun with it. But the home splash page, what we have here, is really for you to get the quick information on your account. How many photos you have, how many albums you've created, how many people that you've tagged photos to in your archive, as well as how many locations are contained within your organization database. And then this talks about our plan options that we have. Basically, we can get into that a little bit later, but we do a subscription model so that you can keep on using and enjoying MemoryWeb. When you get down here in the executive summary, these are the areas that you can quickly sync photos from. Dropbox, Facebook, Google Drive, Instagram, Family Search, and Flickr. And what's really neat about this, Maureen, is that we have designed our syncing capabilities where we take a copy of those photos, but we take more than that. So Family Search, for example, for those folks that might have had a family tree and put details to their photos of who, the date, and location, we actually bring the data into MemoryWeb, and we actually inject the metadata that was already in Family Search into the pictures so that it actually has the correct date, correct location, and people tagged to them, where you would lose that otherwise. Same thing for Google, where Google had when in Facebook, when Facebook they have people tagged the photos. If you were to take the photo out by yourself, you would lose the data of the metadata. We actually bring that into the photo.
I just thought of something.
What?
I just thought of something really cool.
All right, I'm gonna write this down. Go ahead.
So if people have MemoryWeb and they're going to sign up for a consultation with me as the photo detective, they can share the link to that picture and it'll have all the metadata in it too.
That is absolutely true.
Exactly. So there'll be no more fumbling and retyping.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is great.
That fun part yet to show you how you change the tags.
Right. We haven't gotten that far yet.
So here are the photo syncs, and then I'm going to go down really to the bottom here, and I want to show you, this is the area, Maureen, that we were talking about for our friend June out there and a few others. These are the two uploaders that you can get to install a little software in your computer, which allows you to upload your photos from your computer directly with all that metadata embedded into it. So we have one for Mac, which is in the Mac store, and then one for the Windows users out there.
Now, will it sync with Ancestry? Margie wants to know that.
Margie, that's unfortunately something we can't do because Ancestry won't let us. We do talk to them often as far as at conferences and ask for that ability, but they keep that information not available to outside companies like us that want to do good for you. But please write in to Ancestry and a few of those other companies that are not yet as friendly with their information as, let's say, a Family Search.
But the Android is available at this point.
Yeah, so for Android, it's the same process of going to your internet browser, your Android, and now you can sign up for MemoryWeb that way and enjoy it.
One more question before we go much further, which is, can you use the app to improve resolution?
Improve resolution, and so what?
Not yet.
Yeah, and that's an interesting question. What we can do, and so today's version that we have for the web app is going to be like version 1, where there is people that are in the audience that are familiar with our product on the iPhone. It is jam-packed with functionality. In fact, Maureen, remember, I think we were at Roots Tech and you came over and you said, hey, listen, I've got this photo and it's a negative. Someone scanned a negative.
No.
And you're like, do you think you can turn that into a positive? And I said, well, let's try that out. And so our editing feature, to answer the other user's question, allows you to do modifications to the photo like cropping. And then sure enough, there was a functionality that our team built where you turn a negative to a positive, and then your eyes lit up. You said, "No way!"
Yeah, invert. I think it was invert. It was perfect.
And it's already built in the app. So that's going to be forthcoming in the website version. It's just not there yet because our developers are going to be for like every week until the end of the year having new enhancements to mirror not only what we have on the iPhone device, but also feeding back the feedback we're getting from users like yourself on saying it would be awesome if you guys allowed us to do this. And if we like think it's a great idea, which we usually do, we're like, well, then let's do it. And we try to roll that out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, let's get back to your demo because we just barely scratched the surface.
Okay, so this is your executive summary, shows you your recent photos, shows you your recent albums, and shows you the recent people that you might have been navigating to. And the way that it's set up is that this is your home page for this area called MemoryWeb, and we divided it up by photos, albums, people, and location. So taking all of your information that's in your photos and then slicing it a few different ways. So let's just take a quick tour. So in the photos area, this is going to list out all of your photos that you have in your archive, and it goes by date. And what you'll see here is that because Halloween's coming up, I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you and the users how you use the product in a real life situation. So in this situation, these are photos. You can tell they're old photos. This is actually my mom, and this is when they were actually in Germany. So you're like, what do you mean? Germany for Halloween. So my grandfather was in the Air Force, and my grandmother had pumpkins sent over from Germany so that they can carve them. And so I digitized these photos just today. And when you go through here and let's say you're viewing a photo, you're going to then see that my grandmother took the time to say it's Halloween in Germany, 1953, and she wrote all this wonderful thing about the story, about the situation of my mom, who's over here, and her brothers and sisters. And I went ahead and already tagged this to Wiesbaden, Germany, because that's where they're located at. But you could see that the date's incorrect. And so if I want to correct that, instead of doing it photo by photo, what I can do is go over here to select all, which you can select as many photos as you want. In fact, you can select thousands of photos if you want to. And what you go down here is called edit tags. And then what pops up is the ability to add people, change the date, change the location. And so people are kind of scratching their head right now and going, what do you mean I can change the location? We actually mean change the location. We're not talking about just putting a keyword in here. We're actually going to be bringing in via Google the GPS coordinates so that that photo can actually be read with those GPS coordinates anywhere you want to. So we're actually talking about changing location. So in the date here, we would actually change the date, and the date was in, I think, 2000, not 2000, it was 1953. So we can go through here and change the date to 1953. Oops. There we go. I think it's scrolling in the back here. Let's just go to 1971 for now. Let's be, and change the date, and it'll change the date, and all of a sudden it disappeared because it's no longer part of those new photos. And so what it does is that then it goes through into that year. Mm-hmm. And so I can go by group by year because you might have a lot of years in your collection.
But you can change it back. You can change it again.
Yep.
You have unlimited editing of that in that edit field.
Yeah, you can see we have a lot of photos in here where we've kind of, scanned in and we modify and change, and then you can kind of go back in time and you can see that our team has put a lot of photos of me as a kid in here, which I probably need to remove from our account because they're kind of funny, but it's part of life, right? You got photos when you grow up.
Exactly. Bad hair.
And you can then go find those photos that came up, and then here you see them all from, I threw in 1971 just to make the demo a little bit quicker for you, but what you can then see is that the date has changed for all of them. And then what you can also do is if you want to change it back or change the tags to adding people. So right now it's my my grandmother or my mother in here, and I can add in, let's say, one of my uncles that are in the photo too. It just basically grabs them from your collection and then allows you to add them, and then they're going to be permanently with that photo.
So I think that people are actually downloading it right now. So let's just insert one little thing. For all of you that listen to this and see it on my Facebook page or listen to it in the podcast, guess what? We've got huge news, and I hope you don't mind if I jump to this just because people are starting to download it right now, which is if you enter the code PD18, and we'll show that slide at the end, but capital P, capital D, 18, you're going to get a free trial until 2019. That's right. It's only October of 2018. So you're going to get 2 whole months for free.
And if by chance somebody went ahead and downloaded the made an account already today, we're going to go through and anybody that's done it prior to the webcast today, we're going to apply that for them as well.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You're a great company.
You want to see another fun feature?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something that came from one of our power users named Mike L. And he said, listen, I have so many photos with rich information on the back of the photo. Is there any way you can link them? And the light bulb went off with our team. We're like, what if we not only linked them, but what if we did something called like a photo flip? And so here's an example of what that would look like. I have this is my family reunion photo from, I don't know what time it is, but it's a long time ago, and it has information from the front and the back. And what I can do is I can go to edit tags. And this is the same functionality you saw earlier where you can edit the tags of, people, location, dates, and albums. But one of them is called back photo. And if I go to add that, that allows me to then add which photo wants to be linked to. And once I have that done, you ready?
I'm ready.
It's linked and you can do a photo flip.
So one of the comments is photo flip is over the moon great.
Already? Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like the #1 selling point for me. I mean, when you said that, I was like, I'm never using anything else again, because I have all photos with the front and then the information on the back. But also, you had let me look at that photo earlier, so you can put a date with it. It's the 1940s.
Oh, is it? Oh,
okay. It's the 1940s based on what they're wearing.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was going to ask you, because I need to get this date. It's 2018. It can't be correct. This is my grandmother, or my great grandmother. We call her Momo. She was born in 1895, so that would be pretty close, Maureen. So I'm gonna show you what we can do now. Go to edit tags, change date. People are gonna love this feature. So here's the date change, but we also have approximate date. So if you think of, well, I don't know the exact date, but I might know the season. So I'm gonna guess, because they're all in shorts and short sleeve shirts, summer. And I'm going to say, let's call it 1940.
Because you can always go back and edit it again.
Yeah, but what's neat about this is that now it's going to apply that date to the photo. And so now you see it says circa summer 1940.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
And the photo flip, that photo that's linked, what's really neat about that is that by chance you take one or both of the photos out of the platform, in the metadata, we reference the other file name, which is the back or the front of the photo, so that those don't get lost now.
Now, when it syncs, here's a question. This is actually from me. Oh, and somebody wants to know, can we edit the season names to make it fall equal autumn?
Well, we haven't had that request yet, but we could do whatever we like. So if we prefer to do that, the user could probably, and here's what you can do, Maureen, is that you can also add any information on the photo you want to, including comments, or write a story about it. So there's lots of options you have in what you can do related to like the details of a photo. So it's just a matter of what you want to do. So if you can have that for the exact date, but then you can kind of go through and, you know, pick out another photo here. We'll go back to this guy. Go to edit tags.
And that description is searchable.
That's right. And see, this is called back of the photo, but I can actually edit the tag for that. Bring up a great point. So at the top, Maureen, this magnifying glass, when you do the search in our platform, just because, you know, we built this for our own initial use, we're like, well, we want to be able to search everything. If I'm going to add any details to a photo, I want it all to come up with a keyword search, because I don't remember, it might be a keyword I put in a caption. It might be something that I put in the actual location name. It might be the location itself. It might be a keyword of a person, whatever it is. We allow you to search everything so that you can quickly find your photos, because if you bring them all together, you're going to have a lot of stuff, but then you want instant gratification. So that's what we allow you to do.
It's amazing. I think you have some other really cool things that we talked about earlier that I can't wait for you to show off. If they think photo flip is cool, that's just the beginning.
Well, and the other thing, Maureen, that I think you were really excited about too, and a lot of people are not thinking about initially, but if you're like us, we've digitized a lot of different certificates, birth certificates, death certificates, and even like this one. This one's my, you know, grandfather's Air Command and Staff School Award. And to be able to actually put metadata tags to this correctly, so that I can, you know, change the date for it. So I can change the date to be, you know, exactly, you know, 1951 if I want to, from when that happened, or I can go through and I can change the album name. I can change the location. All of that stuff now changes the game of even your documents and the repository they have, because now you can also link those to people. Like I can add, you know, I can link this then to my grandfather here. I can go and add him if I want to.
We have a lot of questions. Can we just play catch up for just a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so June wants to know if she goes to her sister's computer where she has a lot of family history photos and she logs into her account, can she sync it?
She can. What she can do then is when she's at her sister's computer, she just needs to put that desktop uploader on her computer and then point to the folders that she would like to get the photos from.
And for all the people that are asking, yes, it's now available for Android and desktop and iOS.
Yeah.
And Sandy has a question about photo flip. I mean, this over here, Mike, with the little driver thing where I see all the comments, everybody's like, thumbs up, photo flip, exclamation point, exclamation point. Yeah. So the thing is the back and front of the photo scanned individually? The answer to that is yes. And then you link it. Jean, we just answered your question about you have photos on several computers. How do I get them? You log into your account, you download the uploader, and you're off and running.
Yep.
Simple.
Exactly. Yep.
Whenever you think about this program, I want you to think of simple, because they do it right. I so far have not had a problem using it in any way. I can delete photos and then it resyncs so that it gets rid of the stuff that I no longer want. It's great. And if I do have a question, they have a great FAQ with lots of videos showing you how to do it.
Want me to show you some more stuff?
I do. We have one more question about photo flip.
Okay.
Seriously, that's like the super cool factor.
Okay.
Can you view front and back at the same time? Yes. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, they're linked. Yeah, they're linked. So you just flip them back and forth, or you can go and as you kind of look through photos, they're usually consecutive in a collection. So there's multiple different ways you can view photos in our application.
Okay. All right. So, you know, show them the people and then show them the super cool, where this is the photo organizer for genealogists.
So
you know what I want you to show.
Well, I'm going to let you tell me that in a minute. But with the people area, what's really neat about it is, think about this. You have all your people in your family currently, and usually people have a disconnect with, you know, their current family, and then they have their family trees and ancestry, and those photos are never together. Now we connect them. Now you can have them when you have those old photos and new photos, having them interrelated through your people database. That's what this is. And even better, people are like, well, what if I don't know who the people are in the photos? What if we were to say, we can help you figure that out? You're like, how is that possible? Well, we have facial recognition in the photos. And so what we do is we take all your photos and we examine all the faces, and then we group the photos that have similar faces. And all of a sudden, some baby photos of an individual might also be grouped with the adult photo. And the database is saying, these are the same people. You confirm the person, and now those are all linked together.
Yeah,
So
but you have to be careful with that, though, don't you? I mean, it's not 100%, because I had a colleague who matched my grandmother.
you had a colleague match your grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not 100% accurate, but it's what we do is we kind of set it at around 95% accuracy. So
Yep.
there are some anomalies. Actually, some people that you never met before that might be in the background of the photo might be suggested, but it is way quicker in the organization when you have 100 people that are grouped and 95 of them are the same versus tagging each individual
Yes.
photo.
Yeah.
So in here in this area, do you recognize these people? These are the people that have been grouped for you to confirm, and then you get into your actual all your people that are in your database and archive. And so this is me. So here's just a small amount of the photos that are of me, and which kind of go through in a way that it goes through in kind of your age. And so if you have the iOS version, people are going to go, well, wait a minute, is this the feature where you have an age scroll on it, where you scroll through and you can see your age in all the photos? Yes, and we're going to be bringing that to this version as well. The other thing that's going to be forthcoming, and we hope in the next couple of weeks, is that we'll have a people location view. So think about this. Think about if you took the time to tag the locations of old photos of, let's see, your grandmother and your great-grandmother, and then you go to their people profile view, and you click a world map, and it shows you everywhere they traveled in their lifetime with the photos. That's what this will allow you to do. And people that want to check that out, you can use the same account, download it from the iOS store, and you can then sign in and have those accounts synced, and you can actually see that feature. In the one we have today, Maureen, though, is that in your profile, if I go to see family, this is where we bring in family members, your parents, your grandparents, and your children, and you can then keep on clicking to them and seeing them and their family members, and they're all linked. So this is where all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, now I can go through and see the connection, because for us and our children, oftentimes we're having a conversation about a relative, and we're always saying, oh, this is grandfather Firestone, and they're like, which one's he? I mean, what does he look like? And what we do is we love to show them not only what he looked like, but we also, in the feature that's coming out too, that's in the iPhone, is it shows you what it looks like at your age. So if you wanted to see your relatives at a certain age, you can go and navigate directly to say, this is what they look like when they were my age. And it's pretty wild to do that.
It's very cool. So when it pops up with the people and it shows you, do you know these people, and it has like 27 photos,
Yeah.
Can you go in individually and accept those, or do you have to accept them all as a group? Just in case that 5%, like this colleague of mine, was an odd thing, because it's been 100% until that.
Maybe you're related to your colleague and you didn't know it.
Maybe. I'd love to have her as a relative.
Oh, that's pretty sweet of you. The answer to your question is that we default check all of them, and you just have to uncheck the ones that are not perfect to that person. Or if they all are, then, or you can unselect all, or you can even ignore a person where you know the person, but you're like, I don't want a people profile for them. You hit ignore, and then those photos are just ignored for facial recognition.
Okay, that's perfect. That's all I needed to know. And that's covers this. We got another bunch of questions. Any plans to add the ability to export front and back to the same digital file?
That's a great question. We had that before. The problem is that you then have to worry about resolution, of what kind of resolution that's going to be, because you have two different photos, and also then in which way do you have them? Like, bottom top, side to side, and then they're an elongated photo. So I think that that's a great wish that we can think about how we would do that. But right now, we haven't gotten over the hump of do we want to sacrifice the actual digital attributes and how the metadata components would come together. So good suggestion. We're thinking about that one.
Well, photo flip alone is pretty cool. And Claire wants to know, for desktop, what Mac iOSs are supported?
We go back in time. We do the most recent one, and then we do historical ones. So it's a matter of how far back you are in your Mac version. We can't go back into the complete time machine, but we, like even the iOS versions, in the iOS phones, we support, I think, the most recent 3 years of information related to the most recent updates. That's kind of where you have to draw the line somewhere. So fingers crossed, your version's supported.
Right. So that, like, I'm getting messages saying I need to update my iOS. That's covered.
Yeah, and that's something that Apple forces you to do anyways. So they make it so that a lot of softwares don't even work until you do that, because they want you to do that.
Another question.
Yeah.
So Charlotte wants to know, is there a way to run unidentified photos against a larger database? And then asks me if I do it. I do a lot of facial comparisons. I do. Right now, there's no way to just take your photos and run them against a big worldwide database. But I hope you'll join me in November for a very special guest that I'm not going to leak out right now, who has developed a very cool product. So join me in November for that. John wants to know, can your albums be shared or linked to a Facebook account? You're working on that Facebook thing.
So we actually already allow you to do that. You can share a complete album to Facebook. That's something that we already allow you to do. It's going to be a functionality on your iPhone currently, but then that's going to be brought to our web version. But whatever and especially, that's a great question too when it comes to sharing. So your entire collection's private. Nobody has access to it unless you choose to share something. And usually the way people share it is they'll share an individual photo or they'll share an album. And so when you have an album, you can have as many photos as you want in it. So we have, let's say for our family, we have the Bader album of all the Baders, and we share that with the Baders, and they can all contribute photos to that album and then comment about those photos. And then the owner can then change the metadata for them.
The MemoryWeb is very intuitive, the way it works.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment I can think of. It's just simple and intuitive. It thinks the way a genealogy mind thinks. But this location thing, people are going crazy about as well.
Well, the location thing is like, when you hear about locations, there are providers out there that say, oh, we allow you to put the location in. Well, if it's in a text field, it's a keyword, it really isn't a location. It needs to be mapped to GPS. And so that's what we're doing. And that's what you're seeing here, is that when you go to that location worldwide map, this shows your entire collection worldwide and where your photos are, old and new, and it allows you to navigate to them. And that's what's super cool about it, is like this one here. This is an example of a photo. This is my wife's mother. And she was a teacher in Okinawa on an Air Force base. And we were able to then put in the actual location, the correct date, her name, and now that's always mapped with this really cool photo that she got of when she was a teacher back in the late 1950s.
So for me, with my research collection and my family collection, I'm going to merge them both into one account. But obviously the research collection will go in an album that says research. But my family should never get confused.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
things,
Maureen, when it comes to locations too, where we actually, when you take a bunch of photos, we actually group location names that you can customize so that you don't have, like if you think about photos around your house, you don't have 50,000 locations. You actually group them into being one from a visual perspective, but maintain the integrity of the GPS coordinates on there.
Right. We have more questions.
Oh boy.
Fiona wants to know, and I think you just answered this, can other family members upload to your albums once you've shared them? Yes. Right?
Yep.
We just talked about. MemoryWeb will make it a lot easier for you, Fiona. Charlotte doesn't use Apple, but as we've mentioned in this program, you can use it on Microsoft desktop, right?
Yep. So you can use it on Apple, you can use it on Microsoft, you can use it on Android. So let me put it this way. Anywhere in any device, any unit that you can access the internet on, you can use MemoryWeb.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Mike has another technical question for you, but I think it has to do with the metadata.
Yes.
Because the metadata in the front is separate from the metadata on the back, which is great for description. But he wants to know if you have any plans to enhance this so that the shared metadata is linked.
I'm trying to, the front and the back part, is he talking about the front and back link?
The flip.
The flip. So the metadata is actually different for a couple of reasons. So let's get a little bit nerdy for a second. You have EXIF, EXIF, and then IPTC, the two main metadata type of areas that are in photos that people that get into that are accustomed to. And basically, those are the areas, or they call them blocks, that store the information. Like if you take a photo with your iPhone, it's going to capture the date, it's going to capture the location where you took the photo, all the different resolution size, all this information, that has to be kept in the photo. What we do is we always really big about reading all of the metadata. So those folks that have used Adobe Lightroom or other platforms, if that platform is allowed the metadata to be brought into the photo, we then take it and bring that into our application. We then allow you to modify the metadata so that you can enhance it and even make it more accurate, so that by chance the information's wrong, you can change it, and then that then travels with the photo. So if you have two photos, front and back, they're going to have different metadata. They might have been taken with different devices, or they might have been scanned differently in different resolution. They'll be scanned at different times. So what's important, though, is that you want to link the back to the front. So we make sure that you know the file names so that you can link the two if they get separated.
That's right. That's right. All right. Chris.
Yeah.
What about anything else in this demo? I mean, I'm just completely, the web version is available now, by the way, Monica. That's what we're announcing today.
Yeah. There's, I could spend probably a few more hours with you, Maureen, on functionality here and all the nuances. And basically the takeaway is this: we've created this and we keep on creating it to make it easy for people to have all their photos in one place, organized, easy to find, and correct. And the photos are yours. You own your stuff. You always own your stuff. And for those that are like, well, it's my photos, do I trust? Hey, listen, anytime you want your photos out of MemoryWeb, you can bulk export them out with all the metadata in them anytime you want to. So you know you own your stuff.
It's great. I've used it now for about a year.
Yeah, and then pricing, Maureen, I think people are asking about that. Our pricing, what we really have the pricing at a point where we're trying to make it so it's pretty break even, because we do have to run a company, we have to have our storage. We do store all of the photos in the a cloud, but they're all private and encrypted so that only you have access to them. It is $99 a year, but we keep the full resolution photo for you. We make lower resolution copies that you can navigate and explore, but you keep that high resolution photo, and that's the one you get back if you want to export it. Or if you want to, you can do a monthly plan that's $9.99 a month. And again, it's usually a 14-day trial, but for the folks that are part of your Facebook Live here, we're going to give that promo code an extension all the way until the end of the year. And then I'll do one more thing for you, Maureen.
You want me to share the coupon?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm going to I have to take down the demo.
Yeah.
To do that. Here's what you need to know. You're going to get a free trial until 2019, and then hopefully you'll all be happy, because I can't imagine why you wouldn't be, but you never know. And then it's what, $99?
It is. And Maureen, what we'll do is, because you're very special to us and you've been like really, really awesome in being a supporter of MemoryWeb. When we get close to the end of the year, we're going to give you the ability to give a special offer to your users to, if they want to use it on a more permanent basis. So stay tuned.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. This helps support my podcast. And the thing is, I really do. If you have photos in MemoryWeb, you can share them with me when we do our consultations, and it'll be very simple to do that. Just email me the link, and I can see everything that you've written about them, which is, I just can't even imagine why I hadn't thought about that before. But today, suddenly, it just jumped into my mind. Now, does anybody have any last-minute questions for Christopher? And Chris, I just want to say, this is the overwhelming response on this side in the driver. You're getting lots of smiles. You're getting lots of hearts, lots of thumbs up. Thank you. Wow.
Awesome.
And the desktop, and Mike says, so the desktop uploader was a game changer for me, and me as well, Mike, and me as well. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you can listen to this on iTunes, and because you listen to the podcast and the Facebook Live, you get a free trial until 2019, but you must use the code PD18 in order to get that. Thank you so much. Oh, and is there a special registration for the web version? No, you just download it. That's about it.
So the web version, yeah, the promo, right? I think that the screen you put up there, Maureen, shows you what the registration page looks like.
Exactly.
We're just showing you where you have to put your email and your password. That third area is the promo code. That's where you put it in.
Right. A couple of last-minute questions.
Yep.
There's always a couple of last-minute right at the end.
Let's go.
Once uploaded to MemoryWeb, are the photos deleted from my computer?
Nope.
Nope.
No, we never delete photos. And so what we're doing is we're making a copy of the original. So we take the original file. So those that are using the desktop uploader or have a ton of photos in Dropbox, just remember, we're taking the original, so it does take time. It's based upon how fast your internet speed is, but we're making a copy of the original. And so to do that, we have to go through and take that along with the metadata. So it does take a little time to do that. We believe the process is pretty quick, but just to make sure people know, it's not 100,000 photos in one click. It gets there, but it might have to run overnight for that. But it's only a copy of the original, because we would never mess with what's on your desktop or what's in your Dropbox account or what's on Facebook. We just take an original copy.
All right. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining me. If you missed it, you can watch after the live stream, you can watch it all through again or listen to it in a little bit on the iTunes account. So thank you, Christopher.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching and listening. You can submit your questions for future episodes using the Ask Maureen button on MaureenTaylor.com or through any of my social media contacts. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as The Photo Detective and on Facebook at Maureen Photo Detective. I hope you'll come back for the next show. Don't forget to send me your questions.